Good morning or good afternoon. This is the introductory video for the title portion of the rubric, and that is going to have 4 sections, which we're going to just briefly talk about. So the first thing to know about titles for your papers is that they should be related to the topic or the thesis and not the name of the assignment. So for example, you wouldn't put in the title position research paper draft because that's the name of the assignment. It's not anything related to the topic or the thesis of the paper. Don't do that. And you also don't want to have something extremely broad and general that gives us no idea of what the paper is about. So even if your paper is about COVID-19 response, that's pretty general, and you want something more specific to say. So don't do that. Try instead something like this. What exactly are you talking about regarding COVID-19? For example, are you talking about how to clean classroom computers? Well, then you would go ahead and say that right in the title. So narrow it down, be specific. And you'll also want to catch attention as best you can. Okay, so you'll notice here I use a lot of alliteration. I like alliteration for titles, so that's one way that I catch attention. Okay, here's an even better one, because now I've shortened it down and I've used kind of a fun word like conundrum. So after you get your attention getting a precise title there, try to narrow it down even more, or even more. And you'll notice I keep using the alliteration. Okay? Now we can talk about also the format. All right? Now, so the most important things to remember are that you want Times New Roman 12 font, just like the rest of the paper, and you want to capitalize the first and the last words and all the important words. That's for MLA. All right? Now, I also need to talk to you about what to do in terms of bolding or italicizing or put quotation marks around your title, or putting it in all caps or a larger font or a different font. So that we need to discuss, and it is a quick answer, which is don't do any of that. Let's review. Do we want to do any of that? No, we do not, because the whole paper is in Times New Roman 12 font. We don't want to use any of that, okay? And we want to capitalize the first and last in the important words. One more note is that we do want to center the title. It's the only piece of the paper where you want to use centered justification. Okay, now as we get to a little bit further in the course, we're going to want to use a title for our literary analysis papers also. And one thing we want to know, again, simple rule, that the title should be related to the theme of the piece of literature we're writing about, or our thesis, which is basically that a certain theme exists in the paper. So your literary paper title should be related to the theme that you're discussing in the paper. It should not be the title of the piece itself. So A Jury of Her Peers is a title of a specific story. Therefore, it should not be the title of my paper. It's the title of the story I'm writing about. We do want to put titles of stories and poems in quotation marks, but that shouldn't be the title of our paper. We also don't want something really boring, like the name of the assignment, like Analysis of a Jury of Her Peers. That's similar to naming your paper Local Research Paper, right? You want instead not to use something which is merely talking about the name or the title or the sort of assignment. So you don't want literary analysis paper, you don't want story analysis paper. You do not want any of this. All right, what do you want instead? You want something catchy related to the theme and the thesis. How about these? Murder, gender roles. Again, way too general, okay? Not specific enough, even though in the story there is definitely a murder and the story is about gender roles. Those are not specific enough. So instead you want something like this. okay? Something that relates to the theme and the thesis you're going to discuss in the paper and relates to the story. Okay. That is the title section of the rubric. Thank you.